All right, so we just kick in. We just start in with the questions from y'all here, and the first one is from Nancy Dietrich. Hi, Nancy. Question is from me, Miles. How are you holding up vocally and otherwise with these back-to-back tours? Okay, so far. I wasn't sure at first, but things seem to be going well, unless I get a cold or a flu or something that kind of derails it for a few days, but. It's holding up. Question.
So Corbett 4444 asks, will Alter Bridge continue to make albums in the future? Gosh, I hope not. Of course we're going to make albums in the future. We love working together, and we'll keep on trying to make every record something a little different than the last, and hopefully a little better than the last, and trying to not make it 3 years this time.
Next question is from Andre Paulin, I believe. Hey guys, what's one thing you've learned from past experiences with other bands that you feel is now contributing to the success of Alter Bridge? Let's see. I guess what would be one thing that we've learned? I don't know. You have any ideas there?
I think the more you perform live, the more you develop as a songwriter or a musician. The more you're challenged, the better you're going to get. So the more experience you have, you're going to get better, hopefully. And that's what I think. Staying busy on all the fronts that we are at this moment, I think, helps us be better.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. I know for me, even as a singer, it seems like I'm kind of uncomfortable with downtime because generally I feel like the strength of the instrument kind of diminishes if I sit around, and it's like kind of relearning how to do it. So constantly touring and performing and recording just keeps it. I think keeps it. I guess from getting cold and kind of warming down. Let's see here. Chuck's Revenge. Miles, do you think you'd be where you are now if you hadn't studied music? I don't think so. I think that the fact that I went to school and studied. I studied jazz, and I studied popular music, and learned theory, and did all that stuff. That was really, really useful. It's been useful for me for the last 20 years. I think that the saying that I learned, actually I think Billy Sheehan, I heard this from Billy Sheehan, great bass player. He said, you got to know the rules before you can break them. And I always thought that was very true. It's good just to have that foundation.
Question. I know you guys have wives and kids back home. How do you deal with being without them so much? Are you with them often on the road? Well, yeah, I have 2 kids, and it's the hardest part about doing what I do is being apart from them. When we just did the Creed tour last year, they were out there the whole time, so that wasn't bad. But this last Alter Bridge tour over in Europe, we did 8 weeks, and I flew back in the middle for my 2-year-old's birthday, and got to see him, which was a big moment for me to be able to spend those few days. It really helps out. But it's we're not 9 to 5 kind of dads that the kids only get to see at nighttime. When we're at home, we're 24-hour day dads, and I'm about to have 3 months off here in about a week or so. So I'll be spending plenty of time with my kids, and I think it all evens out in the long run.
Next question is from Alex J. Sopp, I believe. Miles, who are your major influences when it comes to singing? There's so many. I think that Stevie Wonder in particular was huge for me starting out, because I used to just sit in my car and practice singing with him. Marvin Gaye, Jeff Buckley was a huge influence. I consider him to be one of the greatest singers in the last 20 years for sure. Robert Plant was definitely an influence. I think because I listened to so much Zeppelin when I was growing up, and I was learning a lot of Jimmy Page's guitar parts because I started as a guitar player. And I think that through listening to that, that Robert's approach definitely was an influence, just because I absorbed so much of that, so many of those records. Yeah, there's so many. That's a, another guy I actually don't bring up enough is a guy named Chris Whitley, who actually was he passed away a few years ago, but he recorded one of my favorite records of all time. It's called Dirt Floor. It's just him and a resonator, and it's brilliant. If you haven't heard him, definitely check him out. A huge influence on me.
Just Beats Jonas asks, how do you guys deal with writer's block? Me personally, if I'm feeling like I'm having writer's block, I will tune my guitar differently, and usually that gives me a fresh slate to work with, and is usually inspiring for me, just starting over, and then if I run into another wall with that tuning, I'll find another tuning until I write something. If I don't write anything after that, I'll just quit for the day.
This is from Moran Reba, or I believe that's what it is. Miles, what are you doing to warm up your vocals before a show? It's very Mark can attest to this. It sounds horrible. It's very disturbing.
Why don't you show us a little?
I'm sorry?
Show us a little.
No. I do about an hour to an hour and a half's worth of all sorts of scales and arpeggios and things, basically just to get things moving right. It's not very pleasing to the ear, so I try and find a room somewhere where nobody can hear me, because it's kind of embarrassing. But I find that if I don't do it, the show definitely suffers, and I can just put more strain on my voice, and it can affect it actually will affect not just that show, but subsequent shows. So it's definitely very important for me, and part of my nightly ritual to do the warm up. I'm almost superstitious. If I don't do it, then I get kind of frazzled. So.
Laura Notcroft says, if you could tour with any band, who would it be? I could list plenty. I'd like to tour with Metallica. I'd like to tour with Iron Maiden. A lot of the old school bands that we were fans of growing up, I'd like to tour with. You, Miles?
That's a good question. I mean, I'd love to tour with Mastodon just so I could watch them every night. I definitely would want us to open so that after we're done, I could go just sit there and take notes. Yeah, those guys are great. What other questions we got here? Let's do...
I think we've got all these on this page.
Yeah. You want to play another song?
Should we play another song while we wait?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Well, in fact, leading to this song, we have a question from Jordan, and he's asking, or she's asking, what model Taylors are you playing right now, and which is your favorite? And the Wonderful Life, I used the 614. I think Mark did too. I'm not sure.
714.
714. And we're about to play in just a few minutes here. Here's another 714 right here. So I think the 714s are cedar tops and rosewood backs, and I think that those are. I should really know this, but yeah, they're great guitars. They sound awesome.